So Sodapoppin made a video talking about his plans for OnlyFans. You know, he's got the C-Dank video, Zayu survey, Turtle WoW talk, and everything else. But I'm mostly interested in his WoW Classic Plus talk, so we're going to be reacting to that part about it. We're not going to react to the whole video, we're reacting to the Classic Plus section. So let's just dive right into it and see what he has to say about Classic Plus.
At some point, I feel like I want to get together with, like, just a bunch of WoW players, like Zaryu, Peo, Ampi, whatever, and just grind out what would make a good Classic Plus.
They talk about everybody but me. I was talking Classic Plus for years before anybody else was. It was me. I was the Classic Plus discusser. No, but to be fair, I'm an effective nobody compared to like all the people that he mentioned. So, I mean, it's not surprising.
I thought about it so hard, and I just don't want it to be fucked up. I don't want another sod, and I don't trust Blizzard to, you know, have an actual pulse on the community to know what to actually do for it. And also, so tell me to kill myself if I'm wrong here, but here was something. This is a high thought that I had.
Chat to start spamming, kill yourself. They didn't even want to hear him out. They were just like, alright, go die.
So an issue in Classic is there's gold buyers or gold sellers. There's always going to be buyers if there's sellers. And there was a bot problem. And the reason they don't ban bots, at least what people theorize, and it makes fucking sense, is if they were to ban all of the bots, they would lose a large number of their subscribers because a lot of them are fucking bots, and that would fuck them up investment-wise, right?
So that theory, I feel, I got debunked a while ago. I don't really think it's about that. I think they don't have the technology or the customer support, the GM team to justify shutting down the botting situation. I think at the end of the day, it's Microsoft or Activision looking at the bots, saying there's 300,000 bots hypothetically, or 700,000 or whatever it is, and going, it's not worth the money to hire actual GMs or anti-botting measures to shut this down because it's gonna cost way more than we're going to make. And I think that's the main issue, is that it's not about them not being able to, and it's about them being told, don't bother. It's not a cost-effective situation, and it doesn't affect the bottom line. If enough people actually unsubbed and stopped playing because of the bots, Blizzard would actually do something, because Microsoft would panic and be like, okay, go ahead, make the change, hire this GM, do this. But as it stands, no one's unsubbing, no one's stopping, so why would they care? It's not about there being like 2 million bot sub accounts. It genuinely comes down to it doesn't affect the bottom line, and people just do not unsub. So if they unsubbed, they would handle it, because nobody cares, Blizzard doesn't care, so Microsoft doesn't care. Banning all the bots wouldn't be too difficult if enough people gave a shit. But everybody's still subbed, everybody's still playing, everybody's enjoying the game, so it's simply what it is.
So if Classic Plus came out and it was a separate subscription, yeah, you had to pay a separate subscription for it, but they banned bots from the beginning, would that work? That way they don't have some massive ban wave that fucks over investors? That's a bad take. That wouldn't work, yes.
That was honestly a bad fucking take. They're never going to do a separate box price because that separates the player base and dilutes how people play their game. I would like it. I don't think it's a dumb idea by wanting it. I just think it's a dumb idea to expect Blizzard to ever do that. Because that means retail's dev team would have to actually separate the subs. They would have to separate that, and then Microsoft will come sniffing around being like, why does Classic have 3 million subs and they have a 50-person dev team and you guys have 600 employees? But with 600 employees, you guys cost 10 times as much, 100 times as much, and you make barely more money. That's not good. They're never going to separate the game to that level, to that like dichotomy. They're never going to like do a clear-cut, full-blown separation, because it's not in their best interest to ever do that. It opens up too many eyes, it opens up too many cans of worms. It is not a smooth or like experience for corporate to do that, because somebody's bonus is getting fucking cut when it comes to metrics and analytics. So it's never going to be separate. And also, it splits the player base up. You have to pick if you're a retail sub or a classic sub. I play retail on occasion. I play mop on occasion. All these things. If they were to say I'm paying for either Classic Plus or Retail, I am never touching Retail again because I'm not paying two sub prices, one for Retail, one for Classic. I'm only playing Classic Plus. And they don't want that distinction to ever happen.
Then don't even bother with Classic Plus because the botting problem ruins it. It really does. Just don't bother. What are you saying? There's just botting, man. A botting problem completely ruins the goal.
And what you said right there, G-Fan, look at Team Fortress 2. If the solution costs more than the problem, then why fix it? The entire community had to get up in arms and create a movement in hashtag fix TF2 in order to ban all the bots and cheaters. And that took years. It took almost a decade for that to really happen. I don't think Classic players are unsubbing in the numbers necessary for this to really, like, actually work. But he is right. Botting does ruin the game. Botting does ruin... Red Mark said that. Sorry, not G-Fan. Sorry. But botting does ruin the game. Botting does ruin the situation overall because it does make people incentivized to skip content, to pay for content, to swipe and to boost and do all this thing. Like, the issue is, it becomes a disadvantage to play the game the correct way when everybody else is playing in a different way, a different manner. So if every single person is buying a level boost or swiping or paying for consumes or doing all these things and you're not, and you're grinding IRL, doing everything yourself by hand, you are at a genuine disadvantage. And that leads to like a mental corruption of the whole game and the whole idea and the whole playset and playstyle of the game and the community and just how the community itself evolves. The thing is, a lot of people are against boosting. But a lot of people still partake in boosting because they, in their mind, well, Timmy did it, John did it, Bob did it, why shouldn't I? So the issue is, as more and more people accept the state of the game, accept the state of the situation, accept things for what they are, the worse the overall like community becomes, and that corruption is pervasive. It spreads and spreads and spreads. I, for example, would never have botted, and not by botted I mean like pay for somebody to boost me in game, if it wasn't available and so easily accessible. Finding dungeons at the hours that I can play was a genuine difficulty. And yes, I know, you should have played at launch like everybody else, Eben, but I didn't play Anniversary at launch. I came much later in the life cycle of Anniversary, and I couldn't find dungeons during my playtime. Play at a different time. I don't have the time to do that. I have other responsibilities and other things to do. So the issue is, I'm one person. It's not the biggest deal, right? Whatever. You can just say one person doesn't impact everything. But imagine how many people partook in things. Partook in different styles of gameplay that they're not for or they're against because everybody else is doing it and it's become accepted.
Old economy, it makes it unplayable, and at the highest end you pretty much cannot compete with people that are buying gold. And there are people that don't buy gold and compete, however they inadvertently receive, example, GDKPs. I think they banned them, but people would just do GDKPs and they would invite gold buyers to the GDKPs, so you'd receive bought gold. That way the whole economy is now fucked. Everyone has bought gold. It's just awful because of the botting problem. So how do you, in a perfect world, Blizzard just banned.
Okay, guys, why are you saying if they banned me, that would make a message against RMT? I never bought gold. Yes, I received viewer gold. It is hypocrisy. I ain't gonna deny it. It's fucking hypocrisy. But honestly, I'm actually okay. If I catch a ban because I boosted in game, and I hope everybody else gets banned for it as well. I don't care if they delete my character if they delete everybody's. If every person that got boosted had their character deleted, I am okay with that. But be strict about it and enforce standards and rule sets. I'm not sitting here saying what I did was good. It's definitely bad for the game and the systems. But there was nobody running fucking dungeons. And like I said, if they made it so that everybody got banned for boosting, guess what? People will actually go around and go out of their way to start playing the game the right way. To make the journey matter, you gotta force people to partake in the journey.
All the bots. That would be great. Ban all the bots. Yeah, that'd be awesome, but they're not fucking going to. Remove gold? Well, then what's the currency? WoW tokens? I don't know. But, you know, on my break, I just sat there. I played WoW the whole time. I just realized how much I'm an addicted WoW player. And I just don't want it to fucking suck, man. I really don't want it to suck. If they end up even doing it. Fuck. Why are you crying about bots when the game is just ass? I mean, dude, I played it my whole break. I leveled on Ascension to like 55.
He was playing on Bronzebeard, well, Ascension. I'm pretty sure he played Epoch and he played TWoW. So he did the whole thing. He was out there playing private servers, dreaming about Classic Plus like the rest of us. It's genuine the situation of people want Classic Plus and they want the official Classic Plus to be good because they see what these private servers are capable of. What do you mean remove Ebon problem solved? Why am I getting flack for admitting it's a problem and hoping they ban everybody for addressing it? Y'all just hating on me for the fact that I exist, chat. Honestly.
Leveled on Epoch to like 50. Actually, I leveled to 55 and 48 and 35 on Ascension. I just leveled alts with Viki the whole time. We've just been leveling characters like autists. That was months of the break. Gone. That's it. So I care. I care a lot. I really do.
I didn't kill New World. Stop saying just because I started playing New World and they shut the game down a week later doesn't mean it was my fault that New World died, chat. Who even started this fucking meme that I killed New World? Chat, stop bullying Ebon for living his life as a gay man in 2025. I'm not fucking gay. God damn it. I'm getting rage baited by chat too early in the morning for this shit. Jeff Bezos not made an official statement saying they fucking shut the game down because the gay man Ebon played the fucking game. A, I'm not gay. B, I didn't kill New World. C, y'all are rage. I'm going back to reacting.
I don't want it to be bad. I don't want the game to suck. I don't want Classic Plus to come out and it turns to another SOD and it's like, well, great, now fucking what? SOD was just such a misplay, such a miss for so many reasons.
SOD fundamentally was a very flawed and broken experience, but it was fun. SOD did a lot of things right, but the things it did wrong was drastically worse than the things it did right. The incursions were so much worse than how good Karazhan Crypts was. The class balance changes were so much worse than the positive fixes it did to certain other classes and specs. Fully bricking PvP to make PvE very balanced made it so that PvP was unplayable. So SOD did good things, but for every good thing it did, it broke other facets of the game that made it drastically worse for everybody to partake in. I still stand by that SOD was a great experience, SOD was truly fun, SOD was really enjoyable, SOD was like based as fuck and a really, really fun experience. But like, in my personal opinion, SOD was not a good Classic Plus. But it was always designed as an alpha and beta, and an alpha and beta being shit doesn't faze me. Expected. I wish it was better. Don't get me wrong, I'm gonna be real. I wish SOD was better. I wish SOD was smoother, more well done, and like didn't have any of these big issues that we had with it. But it was. I still love SOD, but I can't wait for official Classic Plus that is not a broken, shitty SOD.
Number one, I think they took after all the other private servers and did the same fucking bullshit where they're like, you know what we'll do? We'll go ahead and add spells from future expansions and that'll be Classic Plus. Fuck off. No. I'm just tired of, even Epoch and Ascension did this, but granted, they're private servers. They're not, you know, a billion-dollar company. They just took spells from future expansions and said, wow, innovative. No. I'd rather they did things of like, in terms of.
Now, to be fair, I do want to give one caveat there. Pretty much all the TBC and Wrath spells and changes were originally intended for Classic WoW. They literally said that they stopped developing Classic content and made TBC. All the TBC changes were intended for Classic. Those were all Classic content, Classic changes. If they didn't go to TBC as a new expansion, a new level cap, and a new zone, a lot of that stuff would have still been added into the base game. It still would have been in Classic. Patch 1.17 or 18 would have still been fully TBC-fied of a version of Classic. But post TBC, I think going into Wrath was where they started finishing off OG ideas. For example, the Rune Master of the Death Knight. They got merged into becoming the Wrath Lich King Death Knight, and in that context, they started creating new things based off the original plans and ideas. But TBC, a lot of TBC was designed with Classic WoW in mind. For example, Hellfire and Shadow Moon Valley and Nagrand and all of those were always meant to be in Classic originally. They just ran out of time and scrapped the whole TBC experience. So a lot of that stuff was finished later on. But that's a whole different conversation. That's not what this is about. But in terms of spells, TBC spells are fine. I think a lot of TBC talents and spells were originally intended for Classic anyways. So long as they're scaled correctly and redesigned for Classic, I think a lot of TBC spells can be taken with zero issue and be just fine. At least in my opinion.
Say Druid, instead of just giving Druid Cyclone, make Hibernate castable on humans. And things like that for other classes, if you really want to change it up. Which is cool, but fuck, I shouldn't have a Wrath of Lich King rotation. Or another idea they could do for Classic Plus, instead of doing this Classic into TBC into Wrath, maybe combine all 3 expansions somehow into one big mega expansion, and that entire thing is Classic Plus. And then they could take that mercenary mode, they could take the high risk mode, they could...
And yes, I am joining OnlyFans 3. I will be joining that wanted.
I don't know if I even want that, though, because Wrath had so many buttons, and I kind of enjoy Classic and its simplicity of it not being overly convoluted with intense rotations. And this is what I mean, where it's like I want to kind of pick the brain of... I want Zaryu's opinion on this. I want Peyo's opinion on this. I want Ampi's. I want tons of people's opinion. I would love it if the community could come together and talk about these things, and we could actually get like we'll never get it, an overall consensus of what the fuck Classic Plus really should be. You know, different ways to add longevity to the expansion too, so we're not just fucking, all right guys, we beat it, let's start it over.
So that's the thing, is he's going into the horizontal versus vertical progression. What happens when you finish an axe? How do you do future raids? How do you make horizontal progression work in a vertically designed game? How do you keep adding raid tiers without invalidating all the previous content? There's so many discussion and elements here, and nobody's actually doing any breakdowns on it. Fuck it, I'm gonna do it. I already said I was going back to making Classic Plus content. I'm gonna fucking finish. I'm gonna answer every question from vertical and horizontal, how the game works, raid design, class philosophy. I'm gonna break everything. I'm gonna make a video on every fucking topic. Fuck it, I have 44 weeks or some shit. That's 2 videos a week. That's 88 something videos from now till BlizzCon next year. I'm going to cover every single facet of BlizzCon. Every single facet, not BlizzCon, of Classic Plus, and what it needs to be, what it should be, how it should look, not based on my personal opinion, but based on the core fundamental systems, based on original design philosophy of the original vanilla design, that the entire game in general has so many like conflicting opinions, not on the core fundamentals. Everybody wants new zones, new raids, new dungeons. That's like, we're not discussing that because that's very fun. That's very basic, bitch. It's like getting a pumpkin spice latte from Starbucks. That opinion's irrelevant. But flight paths. Should flight paths be faster? If flight paths are faster, do we add new flight paths? If we add new flight paths, how does that change the dynamic of ganking and PvP? Where do people drop in to go get a specific world buff? If they change flight paths, how does that impact world buff locations? Are they making the flight paths close to the world buffs? Songflower, is there going to be new flight paths there? How does that change that? There's so many conflicting little things that get added to the game that change how one little minor thing will impact everything else. It's a very big butterfly path that really expands upon the game in general. Butterfly effect, butterfly path is retarded. So like all things I'm saying is Classic Plus as a game has so many things that need to be addressed that nobody else is addressing. So I'm gonna do it. Fuck it. It is what it is.
And it's never going to be RuneScape. You know, you're going to have gear progression, and it's going to get retarded at some point, and you're going to have to reset it again. But you could add some longevity to it. Community polls would be great. Yeah, fuck yeah. I'd love community polls. I'm hesitant because, again, WoW players are really stupid. So are RuneScape players, and it works for them. Maybe it'd still play out. But there's nowhere to talk about this shit, you know? Because there's like 18 different WoW versions. So you go on the WoW Classic Reddit, and it's like MOP most of the time. Or, I don't know. I think there's like a private server Reddit with like 10 people on it. There's just nowhere to even talk about this shit. It sucks. Ass. I hate it. It made me so mad. The whole time on my break, I'm like, what? Where do I go for this? You know, I'm a viewer at this point. Where the fuck do I go for this? This is the game I'm passionate about. What do we have? Nothing. Made me angry.
To be fair, I can't even say watch my videos because all my old videos weren't even about Classic Plus design philosophy. All my old videos were just about the raids and the zones and the unfinished classes. Soda doesn't seem to care about any of that. Soda's talking about like philosophy, design philosophy, horizontal versus vertical, class balance. How should they be adding quality of life features and all these things? So Soda's talking about completely different things than what I was doing. He should still watch my fucking Classic Plus. I have a backlog of that shit. Of all the unfinished BS. I need to DM Soda. I need to get Soda on the Classic Plus show. That's what I need to fucking do at some point.
Made me angry. YouTube comments? Is that where we're at? So yeah, no, it's just a bothersome thing. Video I wanted to watch. The Seedank video on TBC Hardcore. So that's classic.
Okay, so I'm gonna end this video right here because this is a 45-minute video, and then he reacts to like Seedank's TBC video. Then he talks about Zari's Classic Plus survey, and then Total WoW talk and Hardcore Only WoW. So I'm just gonna leave this right here. It is what it is.